everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Speakfyre podcast, live from the Speakfyre studio. My name is Bobby Berg. I'm a motivational speaker for schools, and I'm here to help you live your best life today.
What's going on, team? Welcome back to another edition of Speakfyre, live from the Speakfyre studio. My name is Bobby Berg. I'm your host. Welcome back. Let's rock. Y'all, I got a thing for you. Check this out. So who's ever, for a lot of you, school has started recently. How many of you ever got in this class, or you get to your first day and you go through and everything's awesome, right? You don't really have any work to do yet. You just kind of roll through it and yeah, this is awesome. And then all of a sudden, day 2 hits. And sure, maybe you have some different classes and you go through that and there's more or less the same syllabus day where you just kind of go through the rules and you lay down the baseline for everything and you don't really do much. And then the 3rd day hits and maybe you struggle through the first week. Who here has ever experienced that where your first week of school starts out on a super high note and then it just plummets and your energy levels are just dead by the end of the week, right? I've had that happen plenty of times. I want to talk to y'all about what to do in situations like that. For instance, I had a student get a hold of me the other day and he said, Bobby, I think it's awesome that you're doing Speakfyre, but I don't know that you really understand what it's like to be in school anymore. And I said, okay, shoot. What makes you think that? And he goes, well, I haven't really heard about you being in school lately. So how would you know what it's like? And I said, you know what? You're right. Which is the main reason why I signed up for grad school classes. So for a lot of you that don't know, I'm studying at Troy University. I'm going to be earning my master's in human resources management. And it's hard. Plain and simple. Y'all, I do not discredit any of you for the work that you do. I'm not trying to downplay what you do, but I'm going to tell you right now, your job is difficult. So I started school last Monday. Get an email from my professor, and we're all pumped. We're all excited. He's ready to go. He was like, yeah, man, this is great. I'm so excited for all of you. Let's jump into the semester. Well, I start looking at the course load, and I'm going, most of the students that have taken this class are telling me it's going to take anywhere from 3 to 4 hours per chapter a week. And I'm like, that's not too bad. I can manage that between managing my speaking gigs, managing the podcast, getting work done, rocking my family life. Like, I can manage this. And then I read a couple of reviews and more students were saying it's closer to 8 to 10 hours per chapter per week. Y'all, listen, I just about lost my mind when I heard this. I was like, are you joking me? 10 hours a week per chapter? Are you nuts? That's more than a full-time job. Because on average, we have 2 chapters a week due. So I'm like, there's no way. So what happened last week, like I said in my last week's episode, I'm not always motivated. I'm not always excited. I'm not always pumped. Sometimes I wake up and I just want to go back to bed. Some days I really don't feel like filming. Some days I really just want to play Skyrim or Overwatch or just video games all day long and not have a single care in the world. So what do you do in situations like this? What do you do when your energy stores plummet? What do you do when the class you signed up for really scares you? Because, y'all, that's what I felt last week. I signed up for the class, and I'm getting into it, and I'm going, y'all, I'm terrified. This is a lot of work. Well, today, I kind of woke up and said, all right, Boyle, let's work at this. I have this thing called the 5-minute rule, where if I don't want to do something, but it's going to take me less than 5 minutes, no matter what, I say I'll do it right now, and then I'm done with it. I might not want to do it, I might not like it, but if it takes less than 5 minutes, get it out of the way. It takes a real level of discipline to handle it, but I'm telling y'all, if you give it a shot, it's worth it. So anyway, I'm sitting down at my desk, and my wife Jenny wanted to go. She's going back to school to become a vet tech. So we get her application sent in. We start filling out some scholarship information. We are rocking this morning together because we've been wanting to do this for a while. So we're on a high note. So I sit down after we get this done with her, and I go, all right, man, let's start classwork. Let's start some classwork today. And I sit down and I start working. And y'all, I couldn't stop laughing. I was so excited because I love learning. So I sat down and I'm reading all these reviews and I'm reading what some people had said, and we're doing our introductions. And so many people had said, oh, I heard from this so-and-so and this so-and-so that your class was really hard, professor. And he goes, I mean, it's hard, but it's a graduate class. If you don't know how to study, That's on you. That's why it took these people 8 to 10 hours a week. I had nothing to do with that. And I got so wrapped up in my head when I started reading these reviews that I just got terrified, so I stopped working. I didn't start classwork for almost a whole week. I mean, I did a little bit of work, but it wasn't serious, intentional, deliberate work. You get what I'm saying? Y'all, if you ever have that happen where you're so afraid to take that first step, do you know what's happening? Your brain is not able to process the fact that you might succeed at this. That's all that's happening. I've told you, listeners of my podcast, people that are following me on Instagram, people that have been following my speaking for the past year, you've heard me say this before. For those of you that haven't, this is one of my core things that I love to talk about. Your body has the exact same physical response when you're terrified as it does when you're excited. The only difference that happens is when you are excited, you expect something to go right. When you're scared, you're guaranteed. Your brain is so convinced that whatever's going to happen is going to go poorly for you. That's the only difference. You get the same sweaty palms. You get the same rushed breathing. Your heart rate increases a bunch. It's all normal. But I'm going to tell you right now, when it comes to school, you're going to have that happen where you're afraid of a class, you're afraid of a professor, or you're going to get through 1 week and your energy stores are just going to plummet and it's going to discourage you. Remember why you started in the first place. Bobby, I'm going to school because I have to, because the state says so. Listen, we all have a reason why we go to school. We all have a reason why we strive to learn to become better. We all have a why. What is your why? The very first podcast episode I ever put out, the very first speech I ever gave, y'all, it's always coming back to why you do what you do. Think about this. What is it that makes you want to rock the day? What is it that makes you get up in the morning? Listen, I get scared too. I don't want to do my homework either. I get it. It's normal. But listen, at the end of the day, my goal is to be the very first generation advanced degree holder in my family. I want that to be me. I'm not a good student. I'm not the brightest. I struggle a lot still to this day when it comes to academics, but I am not going to let that stop me on my I am not going to let that stop me on my road to success. Nothing in this world is going to get in my way except for me. And when you allow yourself to break through that barrier and just accept, hey, sometimes I have a hard week. Sometimes I'm a little scared of my classes. Sometimes I don't want to go to school, but listen, I want to achieve something great. I want to do something bigger than myself. Nothing will stop you. So I implore you this week, if you're feeling down, if you're feeling a little rushed, if you feel like you can't really jump and be excited and be pumped up and you hear me talking like, Bobby, please shut up. I'm not motivated and I don't want to be. I just want to get through the day. That's okay. You're allowed to feel how you're feeling, and I expect you to feel how you're feeling. Let it happen. Let your feelings be there. But do the work anyway. You might not be excited. You might not run into your homework and be all pumped up and go, I'm going to be positive about this. Yeah. No, it's okay. I want you to be honest with yourself on how you feel and how you're acting. But listen, at the end of the day, I want you to do it for one reason. Do it for you. You've worked way too hard and you've come way too far to just come this far, okay? Feel how you're feeling. Remember why you do what you do. And when you have these down moments and you have these moments of doubt, trust yourself that you'll succeed. You might not want to do it. You might not be excited to do it, but just do it anyway. I know that sounds a little dismissive, but really, those negative feelings aren't going to get you anywhere. You just have to do the work anyway. And you can, because the only thing stopping you in this is you. I know you can do this, and I hope you have a better week next week. But listen, you can do this. I love you all very much. Hope you have a wonderful week ahead of you. Listen, this Fireside Roundtable is going to be popping up soon, and it was a fire episode. Also, stick around till the end. Neil Legend and Jody Cedric are both new members of the Speakfyre team. Their ads are going to be at the end of this episode. Check it out, y'all. You don't want to miss their episodes. They are so fantastic. Hope everyone has a wonderful week. Stay motivated and fall in love with the process of achieving your why. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace! That was another awesome episode of the Speakfyre podcast. Thank y'all for sticking around for this long, but I got a question for you. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? See, when I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions, like how do I record an episode? How do I get my show to apps? Like, do I have to do it individually, or can I just have one place that does everything for me? And most importantly, how do I make money from my podcast? Is that even an option? Well, honestly, y'all, your answer is Anchor. Anchor is the one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it is 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors that want to advertise on your podcast. Yes, you. That means you can get paid to make the podcast. You can get paid to podcast the right way. In fact, that's exactly what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. If you want to get down on this, if you want to make your podcast a reality and you want your success and your word to be a thing, man, you already know. Hop over to Anchor and give it a start. You won't regret it. Catch y'all in the next episode. Peace.
Guys, did you realize that 1 out of 4 children do not have fathers in their home? Man, that is mind-boggling. But on the flip side, that means 3 out of 4 children have dads in their home. But are they really present? Are they engaged? Are they active? Are they invested in their kids' lives? Are they being dads? Are they truly fulfilling their duty as fathers? And this got me thinking, man, it'd be a great opportunity to create a podcast where we can explore the joys, the challenges, the triumphs, the sorrows, and the successes of being a dad. Join me every Monday at 4 a.m. as we explore fatherhood on Father's Fire, another phenomenal podcast that's part of the Speakfyre family.
I am so excited for you to be right here with me today. Look, let me tell you why. Because when I was growing up, I just felt like my father wasn't the father he should have been. The schools done pushed us out. My mom's wasn't there, right? The churches didn't get involved. And also, yeah, for the neighbors, well, it don't take a village to raise a child. So I dived into sports, basketball, baseball, football, and I was always Mr. MVP in all of them. So now in my 30s, right, I'm taking sports and I'm taking everything that happened in sports, baseball, basketball, football, and I'm just molding it into this piece of candy. And I birthed the concept of Speakfyre. So yeah, now you have a place to hang out. So from this point forward, every Monday morning at 4 a.m., I need you here with me, hanging out, speaking over life, speaking over everything that goes on in your life, coming from the perspective of sports. I need you here, and let's knock this ball out the park together.
I am excited to bring you my new book, Trendsetter, 7 Steps to Radically Stand Out to Be the Best You. This book details my journey of coming to the United States and being excited to embrace the American culture. But unfortunately, my culture was not accepted, and I found myself being bullied as a young girl. And in this process, I decided that I wanted to disconnect from my culture to be more accepted into American culture. And through that process, I got so depressed from trying to fit in that I attempted suicide my freshman year in high school. So this book talks about the journey of what I did to become radically transformed, to be the strong woman I am today. This book is something that's really going to enable the reader to understand and embrace who they are, embrace what makes them special, and become radically transformed. Get your copy today at becomingatrendsetter.com. Again, that is becomingatrendsetter.com, or check it out at my website at aishathomas.org.